Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of I Was There Last Night, because I was there last night. Don't believe me? Case closed. Last night, December 2nd, 2016, at the Summit Music Hall, I saw Children of Bodom featuring Abbath, Exmortus, and Oni. So here's another example of a show where I go to that I don't know all of the songs from all the bands. I do know the bands, I have some familiarity with all of them, but really Children of Bodom is the only one that I'm a huge fan of. The other ones I only have cursory interest in, but I do love the sound and the feel of the live music experience, and so I wanted to go to this show, and in the end, this show was something wild. Get it? So first up was Oni. And I guess if you have an accordion in metal, you can probably have a xylophone as well. Well, in this case, a xylosynth. So I came in a little bit late, so these guys had already started their show, but I did catch most of it by the time I had arrived. And these guys are extremely talented. They're a progressive death metal band from Canada. And they have, every member of the band has something to contribute to the music in some way. The bass player even has a solo in one of the songs. The xylosynth player has one. And of course, the guitarist is an absolute master on the 8-string guitar. If I have one criticism of this band, it's that the lead singer's clean vocals just didn't sound very good to me. And it might have been the sound, but it just didn't sound right. Whereas his growls were raw. They were awesome. Among the notable songs were Barn Burner, which is probably my favorite from the night, Thrive, and The Only Cure among the songs that they played. This will definitely be a band to look for in the future as they continue to hone their sound. And then came Exmortus. There's only one band that I've seen twice in 2016, and it's Exmortus of all the bands. And actually, a part of me wishes that their set last night was twice as long as it was, because when they get up there, they just flat out take control. There's not a lot of flash to it. They just get up there and start playing their brand of music. And these guys, again, are absolute shredders with this sort of classical tinge to their thrashy sound. I also love the shirt that the lead singer was wearing. He had Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart in black metal lettering on his shirt. I thought that was awesome. It's also really cool to see a mosh pit to a Beethoven song, in this case Moonlight Sonata, which they've played before. Exmortus is definitely a band that could be a headliner someday. With the talent they have, they could absolutely be a headliner of a small show like this, and I really hope they do because I absolutely love their sound. A couple of the highlights were, of course, Moonlight Sonata. For the Horde, that was just a really fun anthem song. Death to Tyrants, and then the way they closed it with Metal is King, that one was definitely my favorite from the night. Next up was Abbott. And you know this guy's face because he was the face of Immortal for 20 years. But now he has his own band now that he left Immortal. And yet he still does Immortal songs, which I'm assuming is because he has the rights to those songs as well as the other members. He really is one of the godfathers of black metal, and this performance was spectacular. I'm not even a huge black metal fan. I do enjoy it, but not on the same level that I like death metal. But this show was awesome. However, you very easily could get a seizure from the strobe lights that were going off during his set. The music was heavy, it was dark, it was melodic, and just black metal to the core. And of course, Abbott is one of those frontmen who just gets people involved. He absolutely gets the crowd into it. He does a lot of weird things. He's a goofball. He really is a goofball. But it's fun that the crowd really gets into that, and the crowd was absolutely into it. The mosh pits during his set were pretty wild. Some of my favorites from the night included Nebular Raven's Winter, Ashes of the Damned, One by One, and then my favorite was his rendition of Immortal Tyrants. That was just a great song. Obviously, he did play a lot of songs from Immortal versus off of his self-titled album, but it was still, nonetheless, a fantastic set. Last but not least, the creme de la creme, Children of Bodom. It's been 8 years since I last saw Children of Bodom, and they definitely look much older than they did back then. But that doesn't change the fact that their music is just as fast, just as furious, and just as fun as it's ever been. I almost have to give a lot of the credit to the crowd for this set being so good because they were out of their freaking minds. Honestly, I'm actually sore just watching the mosh pit and getting stepped on a few times. But wow. Alexi Laiho is such a fun guitarist to watch. He is so talented, and he knows his craft so well. And same thing with keyboardist Jana Weirman. He just absolutely takes control with his keyboard, and it's really awesome to watch. They do have a particular style. Bodom is very known for their style, but it plays so well live. Live music actually feels like it enhances the style that they play. The band opened with Needle 24/7, which I thought was the perfect choice to set the mood because that's one of those just like fast and energetic songs. And as soon as they started playing, the pit opened up. It was like seriously like a sinkhole that just opened up, insta mosh. A couple other great tracks from the night included Downfall. They closed on Downfall. Silent Night, Bodom Night. That was another, I just love that song. Morrigan, which is one of their newer songs. I don't know all of their newer album as much, but this is one I do know off that album and do love that. But my favorite of the night probably was the performance of Lake Bodom, which is going all the way back to their Something Wild album back from 1997. But just hearing them play Lake Bodom was phenomenal. It was an excellent, excellent choice. If you ever get a chance to see Children of Bodom live, you should absolutely do it because they are insane. And the crowd watching them definitely reacts to that insanity in a way that is just fun. overall, this was a fun show. Summit is turning into that wonderful little death trap of a venue, and I absolutely like that. I like that it's small, but it's open, and everybody there just pretty much knows the rules at this point. It was also a really good lineup. I didn't feel like anybody disappointed and nobody felt out of place. Sometimes when a band feels out of place, even if they do well, it's just kind of like, it kind of makes the show feel a little weird. But here, I think all the bands fit together really well. The crowd was definitely on fire, giving a lot of love to the bands through raging circle pits. And honestly, this is one of the better shows I've seen this year. I think Sabaton and Iron Maiden are still on the top of it, but this is definitely up there as one of the better shows I've seen this year. But I will say this, to all of the teens at the show, buy soap and take a fucking shower because you stink. Otherwise, though, fantastic show and an absolutely great way to get out of the cold and enjoy some multinational heavy music. If you were there last night, let me know your thoughts of the show, and if not, hopefully these short clips make you regret not being there. And that does it for this episode of I Was There Last Night, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. Nice work. Good job. If you like what you saw, you can just go ahead and click that subscribe button for all videos past and future. You can also head over to my website and see all the other stuff that I do, including the books I've written. So go ahead, click stuff.